Hello everybody. I thank you for joining Stamp with Teah. I am Teah Woodward, an independent demonstrator from Vancouver, Washington in the United States. And today I'm going to demonstrate the On the Horizon bundle, which I've conveniently put right out of reach. There we go. This is a bundle that is available in the Stampin' Up! January through June mini catalog, and it is not carrying over to the annual catalog. So if you fall in love with this, I did check this morning, it is available. The designer series paper, the stamp set, and the dies are all available. So just a couple of things really quick. As I mentioned, we have the January through June mini catalog that's still active right now. It's full of wonderful, wonderful things, and I can't wait to share all of them with you. I've been sharing all of them with you. At the same time, we have the May 2021 through April 2022 catalog that is retiring. It retires on, that's funny, this says April 2022, but it actually retires on May 3rd. And right now, for the retiring items, there is a last chance list. If you go on to stampinup.com, and across the top of the menu, you'll see a sales and promotions link, or a drop-down menu, and in that drop-down menu you will see last chance list, and in that last chance list you'll see the things that are retiring from this catalog that are not going to be available again. So many of the things are up to 50% off, so I suggest you give that a look and see. Then we have, which starts on May 3rd, we have the new annual catalog. And the reason I'm telling you about this is, number one, I don't want you to miss out on the sale of this if you have any interest. But also, I did a demonstrator pre-order sneak peek last Thursday. The video is here in my feed. You could find that very easily. It was last Thursday. And I showed many of the, not all, but several of the new items that are going to be in here. If you look at that and you fall in love with it and you are wanting your hands on it before May 3rd, contact me and I can tell you how to do that. The easy way to do that is to join Stampin' Up! And it's a $99 cost to join. For that $99, you get $125 worth of product, including product out of this catalog. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my notifications, and so I've now got notifications showing up. Whoop, whoop. That's fun. Anyway, with that membership, you get 20% off on your orders. And that first order, if you think about it, $125 worth of product for $99 comes out to about 20% off. And for that first order, you also get free shipping. And we all know how important that is in this day and age. So, letting you know that, number one, if you want any of those products early that are currently on the pre-order list, and you can find that by looking at the video that I posted last Thursday. The other thing is, if you don't have a demonstrator and you would like to get your hands on one of these catalogs, let me know. I can send one to anybody in the United States, but it is very expensive to send these out. So if you would, if you've already got a demonstrator that you're working with, maybe work with them first to get your catalog. But if you don't have one that you're working with, please contact me. I would love to send one to you. And any of my customers that have placed an order in the last year are already automatically getting one. So, okay. I think that's everything that I needed to let you know about. I think now we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to turn my video down. And so we've got snow here in Vancouver, Washington. We ended up with about 5.5 inches. Started at 3 o'clock this morning. Yep, the trees are bending. The trees are unhappy. Now, here are the cards that I'm going to make today. And these are so simple. I just can't wait to share with you the ease. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. The ease of using this bundle. And how straight am I? Get my finger out of the way. All right, I can move everything forward just a little bit. Here is the host code. If you make a purchase, please use this host code for your purchases up to $149. After $149, don't use the host code because you earn Stampin' Rewards, and Stampin' Rewards is free product that you earn. It comes out to about 10% of your purchase before tax and shipping. So here's the link to my online store, or you can go to stampinup.com, and when you get to the demonstrator, select my name, and then here's your host code. All right, I guess I can try to leave that right about there. And then the other thing I want to let you know before, I always forget unless I do this at the beginning, and that is next week I'll be demonstrating the Crane of Fortune. So I'll be demonstrating this bundle. All right, set that aside out of my way now. Today, this is what I'm demonstrating, On the Horizon. And there's this stamp set that actually looks kind of plain, doesn't it? But it's not. It complements this paper and these dies really, really well. Then there are these dies. So, like for instance, this cuts out this grass. Oh, that's what I meant to use. I meant to use that on this card and I forgot. There's like a tree line. There's some detail dies and background dies for mountains. There are these look like little houses. There's a fence. This couldn't be hillside or it can be an island. You'll see that I used that over here. So this is the set that we're using today. These are so simple. I kept my palette to a very simple color scheme. We're using Blackberry Bliss, Soft Suede, Night of Navy, and Evening Evergreen. Before I start making these cards, I want to show you the Designer Series paper, because the Designer Series paper makes all of this incredibly easy. And I really want you to know that. So the best way to do that is to show you. All right. So these are 6x6 sheets. There are 48 sheets. There are 4 each of 12 designs. So I will show you the fronts, and then I will show you the backs. These first 3 are what I am creating these cards from. So that's pretty straightforward. And you see that some of these you could actually turn the other direction and make them be like a mirror image in water, or there's so many things you could do with these. Like this can be this way, or it can be this way. All of these, very easily you could turn these around. Aren't these beautiful? And this very artsy, very watercolor look. Oops, I accidentally put in 2 of that one. Oh, this one, I almost did this one today, and I almost put in a mountain range right here with this being our sky. I thought that would be fun. All right, let's turn these over because they are two-sided. And I've seen a lot of people using these mixed with other stamp sets, like the tulip fields, or flowering tulips, I guess it's called. I'm trying to think of which other stamp sets. That's the one that's coming to mind. I've seen where the bundle for the flowering tulips, they actually use the tulip dies to cut out of these papers and create those 3D flowers. So quite beautiful. Let me just give you an idea of what colors are in here. We've got Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Garden Green, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, Soft Succulent. All right, so now let's just go ahead and get started. Why don't we start with this card? I'm going to move that out of the way just a little bit. So I've pre-cut, because I am doing 3 cards, I did pre-cut and pre-die cut everything just to make it go a little bit faster. I will show you how I've created this fence. There is, oh, so this is actually the other half of, because this was 3 inches wide, this was the other half of that DSP, and I decided I wasn't going to waste it. I was just going to go ahead and use it. So it's going to look slightly different than this one, but not a lot different. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. It looks like I'm zoomed in, but I don't know why or how. Let's see. Trying to fix my, I guess it's possible this got bent during my last presentation. Sorry about that. Just trying to get you a nice view here. I think that's a little bit better. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then these 2 white layers, goes on the inside, one goes on the outside, 4 by 5 1/4, both of them. And then this is 4 1/8 by 5 1/8. These measurements will be on my blog later. This piece, I can't remember the size of, and I have a ruler here somewhere. Somewhere. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to use my paper trimmer to measure real quick. Oh, there it is, I see it. It was pushed up out of the way. Here we go. So this little piece that's going to go behind this, behind the Designer Series paper, is 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. So before I mount this on here, I am going to do just a little bit of stamping. I am going to use, ooh, there we go, Evening Evergreen. I want to add just a little grove of trees on here. This little grove of trees I want to add in here somewhere. And that's really the only stamping I've done on this particular piece of paper. Here's my trees. And I'm just going to do a check C here. That looks good. So I just needed to decide where exactly do I want that grove of trees. Let's, could even put it over here. I'm gonna stick it right there. And it's, yeah, not my favorite. I could cut it or not. Okay, so next I'm going to show you the fence. So what I did to create this kind of textured or see the little wood grain on here? What I did, I'm going to grab a scrap of paper and show you. I've already cut it, so you don't need to see me cut it, but I wonder if I'm going to do something like this. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to get into the swing here, but I want to make sure I don't leave any ink. That. Okay, there we go. Whew. So what I've done is I've taken this stamp, one of the stamps that's in this bundle right here, and I should have already had it mounted, but I didn't. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm pulled together. So I wanted my wood grain. You can see that it has slats going this way, but my fence, you know that a fence isn't going to be built going that direction. So the wood grain won't be going that direction on a slat. So what I've done is I've inked this up with soft suede, and okay, well, at the moment I'm using Evening Evergreen, but I'm not actually going to use it on this piece, so that's funny. So what I've done is I've just gone ahead and stamped that wood grain, and then I placed, this is a scrap, so this isn't actually being done, but I ran this through my cut and emboss machine, and that's how I made these. Okay? Ta-da! And let's get that Evening Evergreen off of, I'm going to use my chamois here. There we go. Nice and clean. All right. Let's hope I'm all pulled together now. So I see that I've got a little overstamp here, and I'm actually thinking about adding a little bit more trees to hide it. Something like that. So I'm going to there we go. Yep, that worked. Ta-da! See, with crafting, there's so many things that we can do to fix what other people might not even see that as an error, but we do. And flip my chamois over, put my trees up here. All right, now let's put some stuff together. So I didn't do any other stamping on this piece. I'm going to grab my adhesive, my multi-purpose glue, and whoops. Yeah, just a few days ago we were in the high 70s here in the Portland, Vancouver area, and today when I got up it was 31 degrees, said that it felt like it was 26, and it had been snowing since 3 a.m. So there are trees that are bending and breaking. My sister had 2 trees break. My husband is a groundskeeper at the Portland Temple, and he said all of the tulips are laying down. It makes him very sad. Makes me very sad for him. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp this sentiment centered on the bottom of this piece of cardstock. And I see that I have a halo here. I'm just going to stamp that and see what that looks pretty good. I'm going to ink that back up, and then I'm going to grab my chamois And I'm going to clean that halo off because it would show. Would definitely show. Okay, I'm going to clean that whole thing off and try this again. Halo gone. Stamp carefully. That's better. So now I am going to center this. See how well I did. Not bad. Not bad. Yay. Okay, I can put that one away. All right. Now I'm going to adhere this to this. This is a matte layer. This is not my card front. It's my card front, but it's a matte layer that will be on my card front. I'm going to adhere this like this, and I'm going to adhere it flat. And I'm adhering, I'm adhering it flat because I'm going to use some foam strips underneath this fence. Excuse me. All right. So I'm going to adhere this close to the top. I'm going to sneeze, I feel it. Excuse me. Crazy weather. All right, so I'm centering from side to side. Because I've used the multi-purpose glue, I have a little bit of wiggle room. Isn't that pretty? I think it's pretty. All right, so now I'm going to add these fence pieces. Now notice, there's a picket at the top. Hi, Sonia. Thank you for joining me. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. See the picket at the top? So this is how you can tell which side is the top and which side is the bottom. Oh, thank you so much. Here are the other two. So I'm making 3 cards today. These are so easy to do. Okay, so I am going to adhere this like this. And on this card, I cut off one of the slats. Let's see if I still need to do that or not. Yep. So I'm just cutting off, just making this just a little bit more narrow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a foam strip on this outside fence slat, but then I'm going to use adhesive to adhere the inner so there's an actual curve. And I've already pre-cut my foam strip. The foam strips are thicker than your actual and everyday dimensional. It's very similar, but they are twice as thick. Oops, let's see, am I high enough? Barely high enough. But I think it's going to work. All right, then I need to put just a little bit of adhesive. And I guess we're going to get a little bit more snow. Well, I don't know if it's a little bit. This was supposed to be a little bit. This was supposed to be just a flurry. And we ended up with, like I said, 5.5 inches. A little bit more than a flurry. All right. So I need to determine, because I've already got adhesive on here, I need to determine exactly where do I want that a little bit more forward or a little bit more down. Let's see. I'm going to place this one first. Pull that backer off of my foam. I'm putting that first slat off of onto the white, or off of the mat. Here we go. And that adhesive is sticking just fine. Now I need to figure out where my exact placement here is going to be. Actually, I kind of like it a little lower here. Because I did not cut from the exact same location, I used the same piece of paper. So where I'm accenting is slightly different. There we go. There we are. Easy peasy. Next, we need to burnish my card base. I'll line up that bottom and my sides. Grab my bone folder. Now this card front, I'm going to add to the front of this card base using dimensionals. It's just going to pop it up just a little bit. I like to add dimensionals a lot. I do not skimp. I don't like to take a chance of anything that I'm going to be mailing crushing. Don't want anything to crush. And I'm actually going to show you, I don't always show you how to decorate the inside of a card, but because these are so watercolory, the designer series papers, and I could have used a strip of designer series paper for that matter, but I use blending brushes. So I will show you that. And there we are. So there is the front of this card. Now let's move to the inside. So what I did on the inside of this one was I used those trees and I used the birds. And I just used the blending brushes to create that kind of streaky sky. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on this card. Check my blending brush and see which color. I'm pretty sure this is the the Night of Navy. Yep. And I'm just coming in and I'm not even worrying about making anything perfect. I'm totally going for that streaky sky look, like you see in these cards. I'm not going to use multiple colors. I'm leaving room. I don't want anyone to be scared to write on the inside of these cards. All right, so that was just a little bit of a base for the sky. Then I'm going to take these birds and I'm going to kind of start low here and move them high here, just like that. That's simple. Then I'm going to close that Night of Navy. and use the Evening Evergreen, which is this beautiful green. And I'm just, woo, I got a little bit roundy brushy there, so I'm going to try that again, see if I can. Worst case scenario, I put the trees there. I wasn't going to go up that high, but I did. All right, trees again. So this is where I was putting the trees, but because of that little mussy area, there we go, that kind of hides it. I did end up with a bit of a halo, which I can fix using the sand eraser. So I'm just going to go over it really lightly. Let's turn this. Evidently I'm a little heavy-handed today. All right. There we go. Add a little bit more. There we go. Now we're good. Close up this Evening Evergreen. Grab the adhesive. We're going to mount this on a piece of Evening Evergreen cardstock. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, the white cardstock was, and then the colored matte is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So we just end up with that little 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. And we'll add this in here. Now, I could have, there are lots of colors on the front, and I could have picked multiple colors and really created something super dynamic on the inside, but my goal was to show you that we could make some really beautiful cards without using every single color in the rainbow. So let me show you what I mean. So I definitely pared this down to 4 colors of ink, mostly 3 colors of ink. So see, I could have used this brighter green, so Granny Apple Green or something like that in here across the bottom, but I was trying to keep this simple and straightforward. I was trying to not blow anyone's mind, to be super honest. So this card says thanks for everything, and this card is now complete. Let's set that to one side. The next card that we're going to make is this one that says relax and enjoy your day. Thank you. I really appreciate it so much. Yeah, this On the Horizon paper and stamp and dies, they're just amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start with this piece, and I've already cut everything down to size. I want to apply this mountain over what to me looks like a watercolor mountain here. And I just want to enhance it just slightly, just give it a little bit more definition. That, the birds, and the sentiment are all that I'm doing to this designer series paper. So how simple is that? I'm actually going to start by stamping the sentiment. On this one, I was crooked and I had to go and find another piece of the paper, and I actually matched the print and put it up on dimensionals. So let's see if I can do any better this time. Switch out my blocks. All right. On this one, I'm using Night of Navy for my ink. And let's see, hopefully I get this one more straight than I did the last one. I did. It's much better. So Sonia, did you end up with any of this snow? I know you're quite a bit, no, now that I think about it, you're over on the eastern side of Canada, aren't you? You're not on the western side. I'm putting a cough drop in. So we ended up with a snowstorm, or not storm, but a snow event. Here's my mountains. So Portland, Vancouver ended up with 5.5 inches of snow. We were supposed to have a flurry. I'm just applying, I should have used my adhesive sheets here and I didn't. So I'm going to just use a piece of sponge and just dab on some adhesive in some key locations. There we go. Oh, gracious. Being a little bit of a cluster. No snow for Montreal. Yeah, I bet you're glad. Yeah, we were a little on the surprised side. Like I said, it was supposed to be just a flurry, but when I got up, it had been snowing since 3 a.m. My husband is a groundskeeper at the Portland Temple, and he said all the tulips and daffodils are laying down. Made him very sad. I'm making sure that my birds are going in the right direction. Because I've put my sentiment here and I've enhanced the weight of the card front here, I'm going to put my birds over here. Just like that. It would have been better if I had come in just, okay, maybe I'll throw a couple more on. Let's see. Let's see if I can just color up a couple, maybe 3. That's pretty messy. I got away with it. All right. This is now ready to be mounted to the matte layer. Close this up for a minute so I don't make a mess. See how simple and easy these are? And you probably noticed I haven't even used any ribbon, which, and you know I love to use ribbon. I haven't used any. There are some embellishments that go with this collection that look like pebbles. I don't have any of those. They're really cool looking. It's just they weren't available when I was placing my orders, and then I just never got around to it. But I've seen them. If you look at other people's things on Pinterest for On the Horizon, you'll see those stones being used. They're really cool. All right, This is now ready to be adhered to my second matte layer, which is white. It was supposed to, up north, but they got rain. Oh, so all the snow came here. And it was much colder here than was anticipated. And we're supposed to get more again on Wednesday, evidently. It's craziness. My husband and I leave for the coast on Friday to celebrate our wedding anniversary. All right, so there's our card front. I'm going to put some dimensionals. Oh no, I'm going to burnish. Burnish my card base. Then, so this is a side fold, and this is the same dimensions as the card before, and again, all of this will be on my blog. Dimensionals. Oops. That one's a little far out on the edge. There we go. Oh, thank you. Yeah. We're excited. We can't hardly believe it's been 10 years. That flew by. Guess time flies when you're having fun, right? It's been, we've had a lot of great adventures, including making it all the way through COVID. Not us, we didn't have COVID, but just making it through a pandemic. I should have been more clear on that. Knock on wood, so far both my husband and I have been lucky and neither one of us have had COVID. All right, so the inside of the card, I've just put a little bit of the sky color and put in some birds. And I'll probably put in fewer birds than I did on my sample because I really kind of feel like there's too many birds on there. It's not as relaxing. And make sure I've got my Night of Navy. I do. And these don't need to look exactly the same. Can you believe we're almost done? Oh my gosh. I am really heavy-handed today for some reason. But this watercolor look is really cool. Now this is a very different kind of sky than you saw me create last Monday. Last Monday I used those basic border dies that has the cloud silhouette. And I made some very detailed clouds. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting that away. I'm using the same color to stamp my birds. So let's do one set here and another set here. There we go. That's easy. Now I can close this. We've only got one card left to make. I'm going to turn this over. I got a little bit of adhesive on that. Yes. Yes, it helps a lot when they're a good person. Yes, absolutely you can case these cards. And they're so easy. At the beginning, I showed the DSP. And just how beautiful they are and how you can turn them upside down or you turn them any direction to create the beautiful designs. Let's see, get this in the right card here. And the little pieces of silhouettes and such that are in the dies really do set off these prints in such an easy way. Ooh, that one doesn't look like it got trimmed quite as far. That's a tight fit. Come on. Whoops, whoops. That one is a much tighter fit. All right. So there we go. There's card number 2. And we've just got this one left to do. And here we are. So all the same dimension card base again. This is another side fold. So this one, I'm going to stamp my sentiment on first. And this one is just a simple thinking of you. I've used Blackberry Bliss to stamp that sentiment, which I need to remount. Make sure I don't have any halos that could mess up my... All right. So I'm just doing this right there. Beautiful. Then I'm adding in Night of Navy, I'm going to add my just one little burst of birds right here. Close that back up. And then what I did here, so this is the die cut trees, but I wanted some bigger trees here and some smaller trees here. So I cut this apart and adhered them to the back of this little inlet looking thing. So, and I'll be cutting off a little bit. So I'm going to actually trim these apart. Just like that. And then I'm going to use my adhesive just on this little piece right here. Whoops. I'm going to carefully position those trees. And I see just a little dinky piece of that base showing there. Got it. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Goodness, I am heavy-handed today. And I'm going to put those down in this little valley area. I'm going to try. There we go. And move it just slightly. Tilt it. Push it up. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to use my adhesive, and I could have put this up on dimensionals and pulled it forward. I just really didn't think that this needed it because of how I brought this piece forward. It already looks like it has an inlet, and I'm using dimensionals on the back of the card, so I'm not going to use dimensionals underneath this piece. I'm just going to adhere it. So I'm going to bring, ooh, and I know that I'm going to be cutting it off right about at the edge of these trees. There we go. Make sure that that's as straight as I want it. And then I can flip that over and just trim that off. Now this is ready to be mounted to a piece of Blackberry Bliss. Some of these papers are so beautiful on both sides, it was hard to allow myself to cut it because I felt like I was wasting the other side. They're so beautiful. So now that's mounted on the Blackberry Bliss. Just like with our other cards, I'm going to mount it to a white layer and center it like that. Now, I keep saying that these are easy. You know, I like to do lots of layers and I like to do lots of foliage, and this is a very different kind of set for me to use, and I've really enjoyed it. That looks pretty straight. And we will burnish this card. Of course, I've grabbed one of the oldest bone folders I've got. There's my new one. All right, turn this way. Add some dimensionals to the back of this. You could adhere these straight down on the card base. You don't have to put anything up on dimensionals. I just think it gives it a nice little stepped up appearance, especially since I haven't used any ribbon, any twine, any embellishments. My embellishments have basically been those birds. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Starting today, there's a new paper pumpkin that's available to order or subscribe to. It is featuring our 5 new in colors, and it sounds like it's going to be beautiful. It sounds like it has lots of different sentiments, generic sentiments, you know. I don't want to tell you which ones it has because I don't know, but I think the advertisement might have said, and I don't remember. Okay, so this one had a bit more of this pinky sky, so I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss up here and then put my trees down here to emulate my trees. Where did I have a blending brush that I used for this. Well, that's rude. I know oh, there it is. I found it, I found it, I found it. Right. Just adding a little bit of that pinky sky, so the card kind of feels like it reads from front to back, or you know, as you open it up, it has the feel. I did the same. What did I do here? I've obviously got something somewhere on my hands. I'm going to flip this over and start this again. We don't need that kind of a mess. Anyway, we like something to feel like it reads from front to back. We want the inside to kind of match what the outside looks like. Okay, this is just getting messy. I must have picked up a piece of fuzz or something. I can put a bird right there, kind of ish. So I think I will do that. Close this. We'll grab that Night of Navy that I've been using for all the birds. So you notice I'm kind of customizing where I put my birds based on where I need to hide things. So there's that. And there's that. I'm not going to try to hide any of the other issues, because really, if you look at this designer series paper, this doesn't look perfect, right? I mean, look at, there's even a little streaky thing here. So I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to close the Night of Navy, open up the Evening Evergreen, and thank you. I'm glad that you like them. I really appreciate that. You know, I didn't get this set when it first came out, and then it wasn't available. And I was sad. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Huh. Well, how do I want to fix that? I don't have an Evening Evergreen. Let's see. If I flip this over, if I stamp my trees right there. Oh, gracious. Okay, so I fixed that flub, so now I just need to re-add the birds. Is everybody laughing with me, I hope? Birds, 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 where'd you go? Set you down, there it is. All right, so I'm just going to add a few here and just a few more here and call that one good. We're almost done. Can you believe it? I ended up starting a few minutes late, so I believe I'm pretty close to hitting at about 3 cards in about an hour. Yeah, thank you. Yep. This is what we do, right? Well, and there's 2 sides to the paper. And there have definitely been times when I've gotten all worked up over a mistake and then thought a couple days later that I could have fixed it without getting upset about it. Okay, there's that, and it's ready to go inside of the card. All right. I do have a bit of ink all over me. Kind of funny about this snow event that we're having. I had already, Put some fuzzies here. I had already packed away my fall and winter apparel and rotated in my spring and summer. So I only have a couple of sweatshirts and such. There we go. So there. So we have made our cards. All done. What do you think? You like them? I hope so. Usually when you finish a card. Yeah. I've only done that once and man did it. That break my heart. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and thank you. And big hugs. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.